Good evening. I am from a small village in Tamil Nadu. You might have heard about the great Tamil poet by name Subramanya Bharati. My village is quite close by his village, and my father was educated, but of course he was educated in the old Tamil tradition, whereas my mother was not educated. I have a small social background, a progressive social background, that my great grandmother was one of the great ladies in those days to fight for the breast cloth. Breast cloth means in olden days, see, in the 1930s, especially people from weaker sections and backward classes were not allowed to wear the breast cloth, and my great grandmother was one of the greatest ladies in those days to fight against it. And then the Madras government issued an order that women from the lower sections can also wear the breast cloth. And coming to my mother, I can say she was my inspiration, though uneducated, and her dream was that her son should become a collector. But from my father and mother's side, I had developed my poetic talents. Even as a child, my mother used to make me recite from old Tamil ballads. So that is how my education started. And I must tell you frankly that right from my high school days till my MA, either I will be the number one or number two. Today there is a big turmoil in the University of Hyderabad. I must tell you sincerely, and at the same time with much caution, I also underwent the same agony which Rohit Vemula underwent. I'll narrate in few words. Just before I passed my MA, just maybe some 2 or 3 years ahead of me, an upper caste lady was given 5 marks as grace marks, and she was declared first class. And when it came to my turn in the year 1975, the same professor who went out of the way to give 5 grace marks to that lady, did not come forward to give me 0.25 marks to me to declare me as first class. So this is the type of thing which continues again and again. So I feel that there is human right violation in the case of Rohit Vemula, and I also feel that there was human right violation in my case as well. Because my mother told me that I should get into IAS, then I started preparing for it. Just after, while working in the, I worked as, as an, junior assistant in the Tamil Nadu government irrigation department. From there I went as a, junior instructor in English in a government polytechnic. From there I went as assistant professor of English in the then Madurai University, and from there I went to the income tax department as a class 1 income tax officer. Nowadays they call as assistant commissioner, and from there I came to IAS. My social status, now I am a retired person. And then, here I must tell one thing, that I am also now, the Politburo member of the TRS party, and then I am also chairman of the Telangana State Commission of Inquiry for Scheduled Tribes. The government has given me a specific, order to study certain communities for inclusion in the, ST list. Otherwise, I am a retired person. I work for my Telangana state. I work for my party. See, I am coming from a village, and my childhood dream, I cannot say anything. I enjoyed Mother Nature. I loved Mother Nature. I wrote poems about nature. I am a child of nature, and I enjoyed every aspect of childhood. I had a happy childhood. As I told you, I have my poetic roots from my dad and my mom. So I have written so far about 20 books, and including 2 books in Telugu language. Telugu is not my mother tongue. If you want to tell that, it is my wife's tongue. But then I learnt, and I wrote original poems in Telugu language as well. In fact, one person totally unknown to me, after reading my poem from Bombay, he came to my house. This is a poem called Dakshinayanam. Normally people write about Uttarayanam, but I wrote about Dakshinayanam. So it's an inspiration. The new world has to draw. Then my first poem itself, got the Tamil Nadu government award. It's a poem about, the original Tamil Vedas. People may be thinking that, Aryan Vedas are so superior, are most ancient and all, not knowing that the Dravidian Vedas are as ancient as the Aryan Vedas. So for this book, Tamil Nadu, and it is in poetry form, and that too classical poetry. So writing classical poetry is a very tough art. So that I mastered and I wrote. That is one great occasion for me to be very happy. I have used many keys. Number one is what I think I should achieve. I used to internalize it. This is what Abdul Kalam calls it, dream, dream and dream. So just because my mother told that you should become an IAS officer, it did not come straight away like that. But then I started internalizing that concept, and after internalizing it, I followed it by strict discipline. One smallest thing I can tell, I am now a retired fellow. I can get up at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. But even today, I get up at 5 o'clock and take my bath before 6 o'clock, and I am ready for my work. So, and then systematic studies is very, very important. We read the modern youth as is much more dynamic, and because of the explosion of knowledge, their mental horizon is also spreading far and wider. But then the success does not lie in far and wider, but then it is in how you are going to make use of this, that matters. I'll tell one thing. I always used to tell this thing, friend, we are playing a game of cards. You may have better cards, but if you don't play well, you will lose the game. I may have bad cards, but if I use them very well, I will win. So, just because your mental horizon had increased, far and wider, that does not ensure your success. How you are going to make this mental horizon, these wider powers, the energy, that brings you success. I always used to tell my friends, especially young friends, I tell you that sadhana is very important. See, unlike in the past, today the opportunities are many. See, take our Honorable Prime Minister, he has come from a very low position. This would not have been possible, say, about 30-40 years ago. Now, India provides umpteen opportunities. You have to, use it. In one of my poems, I wrote that you are standing by the wheel. You should have the courage to catch hold of the wheel. So, my young friends, you catch hold of the wheel of progress, the wheel of dynamism, and it is the wheel which will take you up. I will say one thing. You may stand nearer to the wheel. As long as you don't catch the wheel, you will stay where you are. And there is no movement upwards. You will stay where you are. So, what is required is the courage, the dream, the action, and the courage. A man without courage cannot come up. Awards I have not received from my service. As I hinted earlier, I am basically a poet. That is my hobby. And so far I have written about 20 books. And my next book is going to be released in Tanjavur, on 26th this month. And the government of Tamil Nadu honored me, for the Best Poetry Award in the year 2001. During this conversation, I hinted certain points. Number one is dream. Dream means you are setting forth a goal. See, in Telugu there is a beautiful old cinema song. Gali vanalo, vana galilo, padava prayanam, ekkada potundo, edi gamyamo, padava prayanam. See, where you want to go, you should have a goal. Dream means goal. This is the sum and substance of the message given by Dr. Abdul Kalam also to the younger generation. Younger generation should have the goal. I told you, they have so much knowledge. Maybe today's younger generation knowledge is greater than my knowledge. But then the use of that does not ensure victory. The goal should have also, certain things which are required, to make the goal a success. So for that, you require sustained hard work in whichever field. The field may be scientific, the field may be social, the field may be political, it can be anything. But then the person who has a goal should set his own standards, how to achieve the goals. As far as I am concerned, when I was preparing for the IAS, when I was in Nagpur, as I told I used to study systematically. And then not only studying systematically, because of the Indian examination system, you may study very well, but you may not, you may be a failure in your examination. The reason is it has 3 or 4 steps. Number 1, you study, and then number 2, then you should remember, and number 4, you should bring out when that particular question is asked. These are the reasons for success. But I feel proud to tell you that in the IAS interview, I stood second in the country with 72% in the personality test. It's a great achievement. The reason is I prepared for it. Coming from a village and coming from parents who are not educated, then I prepared how this interview should go on and how I should present myself. So this is number 2. And then the number 3, which I was telling in the broader concept of success, is that the courage to take decisions. This is very, very important. Sometimes what happens, people who do not know what you are, what your capabilities are, so they will be floating some ideas that how you can get into IAS. After all, your parents are not educated and all. But I used to know, once I was also carried away by what they said. But one day I started thinking in a different way. How these people know, people who have not got into IAS are able to talk about IAS. So then I got an idea, throw away their idea, because their idea is baseless. So I can. So this capacity, the younger generation should realize the potentialities available with them. So I first think about Telangana, then I will come to the country. It was somewhere in 2004 I realized that when we compare the Andhra and the Telangana region, there had been so many anomalies in allocation of funds, in allocation of projects and all. But then I also historically studied, the Telangana movement. Why the previous movements failed, and why the Chandrasekhar's, our honorable Chief Minister's movement going to be a success. I found that the success depends upon the sincerity. So in India today, we have lot of vested interest groups. It may be religious group, it may be language group, it may be economic group. But culture does not mean the culture of the haves. Culture also means the material culture of the have-nots. So in producing the wealth, in producing the country's great name, each community plays a great role. The unification is very much essential for the Indian development. So in my humble view, I would say that what Rabindranath Tagore says, the thought and action should go hand in hand. This is what the Rabindranath Tagore presents to not only to India but also to the whole world. The thought and action should go hand in hand, and he says very beautifully, into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. So all our political leaders, social thinkers, and scientists, all should come forward to take India into that heaven of freedom, and where the knowledge is free, where the head is held high. So this sort of thing is required for the development of India. India has science. We have some of the best scientists in the world. We have the best social thinkers in the world. And we have also the young, bubbling, student energy. The young men, the energy of the young men and young women, that should be harnessed towards into that freedom. Let my father, let my country awake. See, again, I hinted it, this particular point. Number one, you set your goal. Just because your father is telling, or your mother is pushing you, or you think that you can have a cushy job, don't select civil services. Long ago, Mr. T.N. Session told, see, a sub-collector is getting only 10,000 rupees, and an air hostess is getting 25,000 rupees. So, don't compare with in monetary terms. Here you are given a national task of developing a subdivision. But what is the domain of an air hostess? Maybe 200 passengers or 300 passengers. Here, a very big geographical area with so many areas of development. So this vision is the first and foremost thing to be underlined for an IAS aspirant. That is number one. And then he should set his how to achieve this goal. As I told you, just because you have a goal, it lands you nowhere. It's just like any other person, has some idea or a thought. The goal should be divided into, area of achievement, how this goal should be reached. So in my case, what I followed is that I used to get up at 5 o'clock, and then after taking bath I used to complete my yoga. Even today I am practicing yoga. Not a single day passes without my yoga. And then I start my preparation before going to the college. While I was working in Nagpur, I played a small trick in the sense a strategy, a sadhana. All the probationers used to go to the college by bus. I was a few persons, including myself, we used to go by walk. And that is the time, what all I read in the morning, I used to recollect it. And wherever there is a break, I used to put it in my mind. And in the evening when I come back, why this particular point could not come to my memory or my thought. So then I clarify it. And then in this way, I was going on accumulating, my knowledge. And not only accumulating knowledge, you should also remember. And not only remembering, but at the right time in the examination, you have to put it in the way which the examiner likes it. So these are things which are required. Inspire.org. No, I consider it is a welcome initiative, and I feel happy that you have started it, and you carry on this thing. See, success, I consider Abraham Lincoln as my guru. from my childhood days, I kept him as my model. His life or my life, maybe he's a foreigner and white and I'm a black. So this did not distance me, but as far as his ideas are concerned, he lost I think 7 times the election, but he did not leave because he had a goal. He had a goal to America, he had a goal to the whole world. So similarly, I will advise you, see the initial stages, you may have some people telling, who is going to see your, this program and all. But I tell you, without your knowledge and in no time, you will receive applause not only from India, but also from abroad. I must thank you for providing me this opportunity to you, and I feel happy that this story will inspire many young men and many young women in our country.